Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
It's time for the Sports Blitz, the only live-streamed local sports show in Arkansas with all the latest on the sports stories that matter to you.
Got a very busy prediction Friday for you today on the Sports Blitz. We look at high school football state playoffs that begin tonight. We look at college football that takes place tomorrow, the NFL, and it's college basketball season. We break down the college basketball landscape and give you our national champs.
Live from the River Valley Leader Studio, here are your hosts, Mark Freeman and Weldon Braxton.
Welcome into the Sports Blitz on a Prediction Friday. Glad you have chosen to join us. Mark Freeman, Weldon Braxton in studio here at rivervalleyleader.com. Man, it's a busy, busy day because basketball season has come upon us. We talked about the NBA a couple weeks ago. I guess it was last week or the week before. And now we're talking about college basketball today. All that, and we've still got high school football going on as the state playoffs begin this week, Weldon. We definitely don't have enough time on a Friday.
Got a lot to do, Mark, I have to say. Not playing 100% today. I'm a little under the weather. But I said there is too much for us to do for me to take a day off. We got to get to our college basketball preview. Who do we have winning the championship? We're going to look at some players, All-Americans, guys to watch. And, like you said, there's a little thing called playoffs tonight in high school football.
And several teams hosting. So we've got local teams that you can get out and support and check out as they play home playoff games. It's just going to be a treat for those of you local sports fans to go check out Russellville, Pottsville, Dardanelle, Morrilton, Lamar, and Hector all at home tonight. So we'll get to those games here in just a moment. We've got prediction stuff that we need to take care of today. So if you want to let us know who you expect to win tomorrow's game between Arkansas and South Carolina, you can let us know. Give us your scores, your stats, your MVPs, whatever you want to let us know about today. Go to facebook.com/sportsblitz, or you can text us at the Sports Blitz text box. See if I can remember this number. 479-310-5620, I believe is the number. 479-310-5620. We'd love to hear from you today on a Prediction Friday. And then also, since we're previewing basketball and college basketball, we're going to look at the Razorbacks basketball schedule, and we're going to tell you, as far as predictions go, what our record is for the basketball Hogs as they are taking on Sam Houston State tonight.
Yeah, I mean, lots going on, Mark. And you look at this Arkansas team, I think you and I and a lot of the other fans were excited about the prospects for this team. But as we'll get to later on, may want to be cautious about that for certain reasons.
We've got some reasons. And, we're going to probably in the, second segment, we're going to talk to Brad Caldwell about the Razorback basketball season and some things that he's been tweeting and Facebooking. He's letting his heart just show, and I'll explain what I mean by that here in just a little bit. But let's look at the Rack Furniture Warehouse, local sports, high school football. We would be remiss if we didn't start with high school football that is in playoff mode right now, and these teams hosting big games tonight in the 6A state playoffs. Russellville versus Benton. Weldon, you got to watch some tape on Benton. You think Russellville's got an advantage?
Russellville should get the job done, and here's the deal. And before I get to the schematics of it, and I'll do that in a second, let's talk about mindset, because if you're Russellville, you've lost your last two games by a combined score of 84-7. Obviously, there's some frustrations, but you've got to put all that behind you now because it's a one-game season. And that sounds cliche and it sounds like coach speak, but it's the truth, because if you don't get it done tonight, if you're Russellville, then it's basketball season already. And I know the guys on the basketball team can't wait to get everybody together, but they don't want them back this soon. Forget about Pine Bluff next week. Forget about trying to have a rematch with Greenwood in the finals. Forget about all that. You got to get it done against Benton. And yes, Mark, I do believe Russellville should get the job done. I've watched Benton. They've struggled. It's one thing to not have talent, but it's another thing to make mental mistakes. And this is a Benton team that I saw make countless mental mistakes in coverage, and they've done a lot of things as far as poor tackling. Fundamentals aren't there. Russellville should put up no less than 28 points. I think a conservative estimate should be 28-14. I will admit, if it's 20-17 or something like that, even if Russellville wins, I'm going to be concerned going into next week.
Who would Russellville have in the second round?
I believe Pine Bluff.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
the one seed. So they're going to have to pick it up regardless
Yeah.
if they play this close. Hey, this is the perfect time to hit your stride if you're the Russellville Cyclones. So you hope that tonight they can take care of home field against Benton. It's going to be a reward, like we've talked about all week, for those home fans who have stuck with them for the last couple lean years.
Yes.
And here they are in the state playoffs in the 6A hosting Benton. We look forward to finding out how that game goes. Matt Ketchum will be there, as that is the River Valley Leader featured game of the week. Check that out tonight at rivervalleyleader.com. The second game that we need to look at, the Pottsville Apaches hosting Gravette. The 4A playoffs, we've talked about this, are just loaded. You look at the bracket at the Arkansas Activities Association page, and it seems like the bracket goes for days. Well, there's all kinds of teams in the playoffs, and you look through the bracket top and bottom, and you can't really, to me, distinguish between the two, which half of the bracket's tougher.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this 4A bracket, you wonder, are these kids going to be graduated by the time they finish the playoffs? I mean, it's huge, and it's really competitive, too. I mean, you talk about the size of schools, and certainly the bigger schools get the love, 6A, 7A, but there's a lot of quality football in 4A and beyond. In fact, a lot of the smaller schools have some of the better athletes, and you can see some really elite quality play in 4A and below, and certainly that's not different here. You look at the Pottsville Apaches, one of the better teams in 4A. We expect for them to march through. They expect to march through and make a deep run in the 4A playoffs. But again, like any playoff situation, you can't take anything for granted. And I know Coach Russ and Pottsville are saying, look, we got to take care of business tonight, and then we'll worry about next week. And I think you alluded to it, Mark. After this first round, it does get tougher, which it should in a playoff situation. So, I look for the Pottsville Apaches to do the job tonight and advance on in this 4A bracket.
The Apaches, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. They fell to Boonville. They came back and got things right against Waldron. I don't know if they needed the eye-opener or if they needed to see that, if we don't execute in this offense, even though our offense is really good, our defense is really good, we can be beaten.
Right.
We can be beaten fairly easily, and that's what Boonville did to them. 6 turnovers, and they only lost by 8 points. So I think that Pottsville's got a shot here. I don't want to speak too early. I expect them to beat Gravette, and then they've got to go to Prairie Grove and the 1 seed. I think that Pottsville's got a chance to make it all the way back to round 3 at home, where they would presumably take on Nashville and my wife's alma mater, the Scrappers.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a tough one. So Pottsville got a chance to make a run back to the state quarterfinals at least. Starts tonight, though. You've got to take care of home field against Gravette. So we look forward to finding out how the Apaches take care of business tonight. The Dardanelle Sand Lizards host Pocahontas tonight. I'll just admit to you, I don't know a thing about Pocahontas. We can look it up and let you know what their record is and that. But Dardanelle, regardless, this season has been a fun ride for Coach Josh Price and his Dardanelle Sand Lizards. They started off their year very well, had a rough patch there in the middle, got it back together at the end, 8-2 on the season. I'm very proud of the way this team's come about, and I know that Coach Price loves the way this team competes.
They do. I mean, we talk about identities, and every team has an identity. I don't care if it's junior high all the way up to NFL. If you're a good football team, you hang your hat on something, which is a reason why I think the Dallas Cowboys have some issues, because our team, Mark, they have an identity crisis, but that's for a little bit later on. When you look at the Dardanelle Sand Lizards, their identity is pretty crystal clear. It's coming right at you. It's downhill running. It's being physical. They do have an element of a passing game to stay balanced, but they want to control the line of scrimmage. And, Mark, I am looking at Pocahontas here. They have 3 losses on the year. They've lost to Valley View, I believe Gosnell, and Highland. It's hard to say, monitor the competition level. When you're unfamiliar with an opponent, you watch them on tape, but it's really hard to tell how good they are in terms of speed and everything. I look for both teams. This really goes for playoffs in general. When you're seeing somebody from a different part of the state you don't play very often, is how do you adjust to their style? A team can look fast on tape. They can look physical, but until you know how physical or how fast they are, it takes some adjustment. I heard somebody on the radio this morning talking about playing against Oregon. They were like, yeah, that Oregon speed, they're fast, you see it, but you play against it, that tempo, it's a whole nother style. And same thing with Alabama's physicality. I think when you look at Dardanelle and Pocahontas, these two teams, when they lock up, whoever can settle in first, I think will have a huge advantage in this game.
Looking at Dardanelle, I'm doing a little research on the fly here on Pocahontas. They are 7-3. Their 3 losses came to Valley View, who is 7-3, Gosnell, who's 4-5, and Highland, who's 10-0. So they've lost to 2 pretty good teams and 1 team that's not great. Dardanelle, on the other hand, has lost its games to, I believe, Boonville and Pottsville are their only 2 losses. Let me look. Yeah, Pottsville and Boonville right in a row, 39-10 and 24-17. 27-14. So it looks like these two teams are going to be fairly evenly matched when they take the field tonight.
And it looks good for Dardanelle, too. I mean, just based on the schedule now. Again, we'll see how good each of these teams are. But when you look at who Pocahontas has played and lost to, and I'm looking at who Dardanelle's played to, I like who's Dardanelle's played. I like going against Boonville and Pottsville. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, it definitely will. And like we talked about earlier, the Dardanelle season breakdown. They won 4 games. They lost 2 games right in a row. They won 4 more in a row right at the end of the season. So they've bounced back in the right way, and they look to continue their season tonight against Pocahontas. We'll check back with that game tonight and report to you the score. Go to facebook.com/sportsblitz tonight. We will let you know who won that game. Morrilton takes on Jacksonville tonight at home, so the Devil Dog fans will get to go out and watch a home game in the 5A state playoffs. Lamar, big fans there in Lamar of the Sports Blitz, and they are getting to host Hoxie tonight. So those fans are very, very excited that they get to host a state playoff game there in the 3A. Atkins is traveling to Camden Harmony Grove, and that's going to be a tough one for the Atkins Red Devils. And then Hector is hosting Dirks tonight, or Dirks, however you want to say it. I'll say Dirks.
Yeah. I mean, interesting matchups across the board, Mark. And as you said on the outset, the teams that are hosting, I mean, you usually maybe get a couple of teams if you're lucky to host. First of all, you usually don't have this many teams make the playoffs in your area to begin with.
Yeah.
And not only have they made the playoffs, a lot of them get to host. And certainly we wish them the best, and the teams going on the road. I know Atkins is traveling, so we want to wish those teams traveling the best as well.
We've also got, we definitely wish the best to these football teams. We've also got some basketball starting up around the area.
Uh-oh.
The Pottsville Apaches started their season on Tuesday night against Clinton. Got to be there and check that out. It was awesome. It was just good to watch basketball again, especially local basketball and teams that you like to watch that are fun to watch. The Apaches got a 20-point win. The junior high Apaches got a big 20-point win on Monday night over Hector in the Polk County tournament, so that was fun to see. Clarksville Panthers, red-white game tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. From about 2 o'clock to about 6:30, they're going to be each team from 7th grade up playing red-white game there at Clarksville High School, so you guys can get out there and watch. You might see a familiar face during the slam dunk contest. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
As a contestant.
I'm definitely not going to be dunking. I can promise you that.
I thought you'd be a contestant.
If I could dunk, if they were putting 8.5-foot goals out there, I'd show them something. But no.
You know it's Clarksville, though, so I'm figuring ESPN's going to be there and everything. I mean, it's Clarksville we're talking about.
They got ESPN the Ocho will be there on the scene at Clarksville High School. No, one of our kids is about 6'3" at our church, and he wants me to throw him some oops in the slam dunk contest.
Oh, yeah?
And I said, man.
You get some practice in?
Yeah, well, we're going to have to do this tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So, yeah.
As long as you get some practice in.
I'm going to have to get up early and go throw oops in the morning. It's going to be fun, but I told him, I was like, I don't really want to do this because I want you to do well. I want you to have a chance to win. You need to get Freddie to throw you oops.
Right.
Because if I throw you a bad one and you lose, he goes, I'm not going to win anyway. He said it just like that. And I'm like, well, let's have a little confidence in ourselves.
Yeah.
Dedrick Lee and Jaron Thompson and Devin Sims and those guys. they're going to have a chance to do some crazy stuff. And my boy Bailey doesn't think he's going to get the opportunity to win the dunk contest, but we're going to go out there and show him something.
Yeah, just get out there and show him something.
I don't
you
know.
never know.
We'll do something crazy. So I look forward to that. We're really going to enjoy basketball season. I just get excited thinking about Clarksville basketball.
I can tell.
There's just not much else as far as sports go in Clarksville to get real excited about. Football's been rough for the last several years.
Golf's been kind of nice, hasn't it?
Golf's been pretty decent. Soccer was good. The boys won the state championship game last year, and the girls got upset in the semifinals. So, yeah, we've got plenty more to talk about today. We're going to give you our college basketball preview. Prediction Friday. So any prediction you've got for the high school football season or the high school football playoffs tonight, the college football games tomorrow, or the Razorback basketball season, hit us up. We got some folks that we've got to read their takes as soon as this break is over. We'll be back right after this.
Hello, River Valley. This is Doug Duval with Arkansas's first Rack Furniture Warehouse, where we have the largest selection of recliners and mattresses in the state of Arkansas. Come visit us at 2609 East Parkway, the Rack Furniture Warehouse.
Set your sights on savings right now at Honda of Russellville. We're offering our best deals of the year on remaining 2012 Honda ATVs, plus special introductory offers on select new 2013 Honda ATVs, all with zero down and easy monthly payments with approved credit. Be sure to check out the all-new Honda Foreman 4x4, now stronger, smarter, and harder working. How about a side-by-side? Well, Honda's got you covered with the Big Red. Honda's Big Red offers a proven Honda engine, automotive-style Honda automatic transmission with no belts to slip or break. Come in for a test ride today at Arkansas's legendary Honda dealer, Honda of Russellville.
Hello, River Valley. This is Doug Duval again at Arkansas's first Rack Furniture Warehouse, where Leon and I are back in business. We have gallery selection at quality warehouse prices here at the Rack Furniture Warehouse, 2609 East Parkway, Russellville.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Sports Scene of Arkansas offers a wide variety of sporting goods and apparel to meet any athlete's needs. Coaches love the top-of-the-line equipment that gives their players an edge, and parents and fans can't get enough of the high-quality screen printing that allows them to sport their favorite team's logo on jerseys, bags, and hats. Your one-stop shop for embroidery, banners, and much, much more. Visit your local team sports specialists. Sports Scene at 316 West Main in Russellville.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
Live from the River Valley Leader Studio, here are your hosts, Mark Freeman and Weldon Braxton.
Oh, boys and girls, the show just got a little more exciting.
Who did it?
It's not necessarily because of any news that we can really break. It's just because our good friend Brad Caldwell is on the line.
It's always good to have Brad.
It makes it so much greater. And I've already told you guys I'm going to break his heart today. So, you guys, Brad Caldwell on the line with us. Brad, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, I can tell you one thing. I can bring an opinion. It may not be right, but I can bring an opinion.
And we respect that.
There you go.
Well, you've just heard something as we're breaking into college basketball here in just a second. You've just heard something that I think our college football fans would be interested in.
A local reporter who I think both of you and I would agree would be one of the more credible reporters in Arkansas about coming out with information, says that multiple sources are saying that Gary Patterson will be the next coach at Arkansas. Now, that's not a done deal, obviously, but at the same time, for this guy to come out and say that is pretty big,
Well, when you've got guys who know people in charge, like namely Jeff Long.
That's it.
And, I've heard of this reporter having breakfast with Jeff Long
Right.
on a day that he was speaking to the state. So, if I were going to hear and believe any journalist, this one would probably be the one. So, it to me, and Patterson to me was my number two. If Chris Peterson wouldn't leave Boise, which I knew he wouldn't, Patterson was the guy I would put all my eggs in that basket, Weldon. So that's good news if that's what happens.
Oh, yeah, Gary Patterson, he may have even been number one on my list. And as far as the source, it's legit. I mean, it's somebody that everybody respects. And Gary Patterson, if we'd landed him, I can't think of any bad things. I mean, I thought he would want to hold out for Kansas State because, he's an alum and all of that and other jobs. But if he landed at Arkansas, here's a guy who has inroads in the state of Texas for obvious reasons. Here's a guy who has a high expectation level. And that's where some of the James Franklin, Tommy Tubervilles, that's where I was a little shaky with them, is you wanted somebody to have that 10-win, on occasion, expectation level like we had under Bobby Petrino. And Gary Patterson's one of those few guys who's been to multiple BCS games that brings that back to this program.
Well, I really think that he is very similar to Bobby Petrino in the fact that he can develop talent. He doesn't get the highest rated recruiting classes out there, but he's a guy that brings talent in and develops them. And I mean, guys that they're just off the radar that you would never think 2- and 3-star guys. Which I know that's not going to make a lot of Razorback fans happy, because even when Bobby was here, they griped about him not being able to recruit well enough, but yet the results on the field didn't say that. But the thing about it is, you can be a guy like Gary Patterson or Bobby Petrino and bring 2- and 3-star guys in and develop them, or you can be a guy like Gene Chiswick and bring in 4- and 5-star guys and be 2 and 7 and get fired.
That's right.
That's exactly right. So, Brad, you mentioned the other day that you liked Gus Malzahn. Where does Gary Patterson stack up next to your guy, Gus Malzahn?
Well, number one, the reason that I like Gus Malzahn is because I wasn't sure that Arkansas could get a guy like Gary Patterson or Chris Peterson or anything like that. I would have to put Patterson above Malzahn just for the fact of proven track record. But, again, I'm going to say Gus Malzahn is a coaching talent. He's a guy that goes out, does something different. I would actually, if I was to compare him to anybody in college football right now in the way that he runs his teams, it's Chip Kelly, because he does something different. He makes you guard the whole field, and he knows that he can score on you for the most part. Look, you look at what Gus Malzahn did at Auburn against Nick Saban and his defenses. He did a good job. Now, he obviously beat him with Cam Newton, but the year before that, when Alabama won the national championship, Auburn came within an eyelash of with an 8-5 team of beating Alabama, and Gus Malzahn had a lot to do with that. And again, when you look at Gus Malzahn and what he's done over the years and where he's gone, and then what happens to that team after he leaves, it tells you he's pretty important to what goes on. Let's just look at Arkansas. Arkansas won 10 games the year that Gus Malzahn was at Arkansas. He moves on. Arkansas still has Felix Jones, still has Darren McFadden. They go 8-5. 8-5 is what it was. 8-4 regular season, and that was with an upset of LSU at the end of the year, which nobody expected. He leaves Tulsa the very next year. Tulsa goes 5-7. He leaves Auburn this year. Auburn's 2-7 or 2-8 or whatever they are. With really no hope of winning another game for the rest of the season. So, he's pretty important in what you do. So if Arkansas cannot get a Gary Patterson, cannot get a Chris Peterson, a lot of people with the thought of John Gruden, which that ain't happening, if Arkansas can't get one of those guys, it would be a mistake to not get Gus Malzahn.
I agree.
We're all excited, and we'll continue to monitor this situation. And if Jeff Long was telling us the truth about having a coach in place in December, this would be along the logical lines of getting it done, getting the ball rolling at very worst at this point in the month and at this point in the coaching search. So we'll continue to monitor that.
Yeah, Mark, I think that fans need to look at this. Look, the season's winding down. This thing's about to start heating up quite a bit. If Jeff Long is about to, if he's going to name a coach, sometime soon after the LSU game, I think that it's going to heat up quickly.
Yeah, it's going to have to. I mean, just to get this, to get it done, he'd have to have had contact with some of these people within about now. He'd have to be making, getting this ball rolling. It would be a huge hire for Jeff Long, and just huge for his career. He's tying himself to this hire.
Yeah.
And if he hired Patterson and he didn't do well, I don't think that a lot of people could have a whole lot to say about Jeff Long, because he went and got a guy that everybody. Honestly, I think the state could rally around, because he's been there, he's done that, he's been in the BCS, he's been a great coach for years now. So I think that it's a good thing.
I agree, and I think the main thing for Arkansas fans, what they didn't want to see was Jim Grove or somebody of that ilk. I mean, I think fans are saying, bring us a name. Okay, even some outlandish fans, they may want Gruden, but I think they understand really that a guy like him isn't available. They just didn't want to see some 8-4, 7-5 ACC coach, and I can say I at least feel good that we're not going to do that.
Yeah, I just hope. Now I've got my hopes up for Gary Patterson. If it's not Gary Patterson, I'm going to be mad.
Let me say one more thing before we move on to basketball. There's been a lot of angst toward Gus Malzahn, deservedly or not. But, some of these guys that do not like Gus Malzahn, you need to check yourself a little bit, because if it wasn't for Gus Malzahn coming here, Houston Nutt might still be here. So we all need to be patting him on the back. I'm just saying.
Seriously, that's a good point. Well, anyway, we'll continue to monitor the football coaching situation, but it's time, like you said, Brad, to look over here at basketball. The Razorbacks tipped their season tonight. They've had a couple exhibition wins. They look to start the season 1-0 with a victory tonight over Sam Houston State, 7 o'clock tip. Are you going to go watch the game tonight?
No, I think I'm going to watch the Fighting Dragons of Mountain Bear.
Oh, Lord. Go watch the old alma mater. I guess I'll be doing the
Yeah.
same thing tomorrow in basketball. I can't give you too much for it.
I was going to say, Mark, I hate to tell you, but you all don't play tonight.
This is true. No, our season's done.
I did have a chance to go to the game, but I am excited about the Razorback basketball team, and I will be going to watch them very soon. Man, one thing that I can say right now is that you've already seen market improvement just for the fact, how long has it been since Arkansas scored 100 back-to-back games?
Lord, I don't know. Long time.
Long time. A very long time. And, yeah, they played nobody. But number one, Arkansas didn't score 100 points last year in any game, exhibition or non-exhibition. They did not score 100 points. And Lord knows, under the mess that we saw with John Pelfrey, Stan Heath, there were a couple times under Stan Heath, ironically, that Arkansas did score 100 points. I'm not sure that Arkansas ever broke the 100-point barrier under John Pelfrey. So it's been a long time. I would say we're probably coming up on a decade that Arkansas scored 100 points in back-to-back games. It just hasn't happened in a long time. Of course, the game has changed and all that, but I'm just telling you, this basketball team has improved. Now, how improved, we'll have to see. I'll tell you right now, Arkansas will be playing past the Southeastern Conference basketball tournament this year, which is news, considering that 7 out of the last 10 years, Arkansas has ended in either the first or second round of the SEC tournament. So, with that said, that is a good thing. But Arkansas is also facing a much, much tougher Southeastern Conference basketball this year than it has in several years. This Razorback basketball team had it played the old Southeastern Conference in the last few years. I think Arkansas would be right up there in the top 2, 3, 4, somewhere in there. But with the addition of Missouri, which a lot of people have high expectations for, even though I do not have a lot of faith in Frank Haith. In fact, I think we'll start seeing the fruit of his labor this year. I think that he won't get the job done at Missouri, but they do have talent. You look at Florida. Florida's got a lot coming back. Good recruiting class as always, and of course Kentucky is still the big dog in the SEC. Alabama's tough. There's a lot of teams out there that are tough, but Arkansas is going to start their ascension again in basketball. It starts tonight. I believe that Arkansas will be a borderline NCAA tournament team this year, and I really lean toward them actually getting in the tournament.
Okay, well, that sounds a little different than what I thought I heard the other day from you about comfortable NCAA tournament team and 20-some-odd. I think you looked at the schedule. Is that what you did?
No, I haven't thrown out a prediction on the win.
Oh well, I thought I heard a comfortable NCAA tournament team. They're playing 8 games against ranked opponents this year, and probably some other teams that are good enough. That's Vanderbilt not ranked, South Carolina not ranked, Mississippi State, who we always struggle against at their place, not ranked, Tennessee not ranked. It's gonna be Texas. What in the world? I just had my call dropped. Yeah, we lost him. We'll call him back. Anyway, yeah, we've seen some tough. I thought we were going to call him. We've got some tough games on this schedule, and I think that Brad brought up a good point when he said that if nothing else, they'll begin their ascension this year.
Yeah. Then that sounds more like it, because I think when you look at this Arkansas team, there's no question it will be improved. The problem is, and it depends on if you look at it as a problem, is that there's more SEC games. There's fewer of these rent-a-win non-conference games. Now, that does help you in the RPI. I mean, because sure, you may win a couple more games, but that doesn't help your strength of schedule. Doesn't help you in the RPI. You add a Missouri to the league, even though A&M's been kind of up and down. They're a solid addition. You've got Vanderbilt a couple of times on the schedule. You play Florida, so it's a much beefier schedule. And of course, you have Syracuse. You've got the event out in Las Vegas, so it is a much healthier schedule.
Well, Brad, as we looked at the schedule, I don't know if you've gotten a chance to take a pen to paper and see what you expect as far as win-loss. But I'm looking at 18-13 again for the Hogs. I know the Hogs won 18 games last year, and that's my bare minimum. If Arkansas loses more than 13 games this year, I'll be upset. If they win more than 18 games, I'm gonna be happy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that because of the schedule being tougher, as Weldon was saying, the win total may be a little lower. I mean, you go to Michigan, you've got Syracuse at home. Oklahoma will probably be better than they were last year because Lon Kruger's a pretty good coach himself. I mean, just those three alone. Then you've got Creighton, Wisconsin, and Arizona State in a Las Vegas tournament. I mean, those three teams right there are NCAA tournament teams. But I do think that you're going to see Arkansas fare pretty well this year. I believe that. And I think 20 wins against a schedule that is tougher when you do have Florida twice on there, when you do have Vanderbilt twice on there, when you've got Missouri twice on there. I really expect Arkansas to make the tournament if they get up to that 20-win barrier because they're going to play one of the tougher schedules in the nation this year.
Well, Corey says, with arguably their best player back in Marshawn Powell, more depth, athleticism, and experience in Mike's system, I think finishing in the top half of the SEC, ideally 4 to 6, getting back in the NCAA tournament and winning 22 to 23 games should be a doable feat.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I mean, I thought Arkansas could get to 20 or 21 wins. The issue, though, isn't the players. I mean, Marshawn Powell's back. Everybody's mature. I don't think anybody's questioning whether or not the team will be better. We're questioning whether or not the results will be improved because of the nature of the schedule. I think it's going to come down to what does this team do on the road. Really, that's been the story for Arkansas basketball for years. You put anybody in Bud Walton Arena, I don't care if it's Kentucky or anybody else, Arkansas's got a good chance when they have a competent team, and this is certainly a competent basketball team. Yeah. And it's about, can these sophomores, the Kai Madden, B.J. Youngs, Hunter Mickelsons of the world, are they mature enough to lead us to where we can have some success away from Bud Walton?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, when you look at what Arkansas did last year, I mean, starting out the way they did, 16-6, winning some big games, Vanderbilt at home, Michigan at home, Arkansas was on pace to make the tournament, and that was all without Marshawn Powell. And Marshawn Powell's already rounding. It seems to be he's rounding back in full strength. Looked at him the other day. Looked into being in a lot better shape than he was earlier in the year. It's just coming back from that knee injury. And look, this is a money year for Marshawn Powell. Whether he's going to play in the NBA, which I don't think that he will, just for the fact I'm not sure that he has a position there. But he's going to play professional basketball somewhere,
right?
And he's going to make pretty good money at it. And so this is definitely a money year for him. And I think that he'll come out and play well as long as he can stay off the injured list. And then you've got B.J. Young, who is going to be better than he was last year. Now, his numbers may not be any better than they were last year, but he's got a lot more around him. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. This freshman class that Arkansas brought in, not highly touted, but I'm telling you, these guys fit Mike Anderson's system. Michael Qualls, he went off in the exhibition games, dunking, just going crazy. A guy like D. Wagner, nobody even talked about him, a guy that won a state championship as a point guard, and Mike Anderson likes winners. He performed well. Ja'Cory Williams is a guy that's going to end up being a pretty good player for Arkansas. And you combine that with the guys that came in as freshmen last year. Arkansas's got a very bright future, considering that they've got a very good class coming in again for this next year. But I think that the future is even now for Arkansas, and you're going to see Arkansas win some ball games this year that maybe you didn't think that they would early in the season, as long as they can stay healthy. Because they can run a lot of guys at you this year. I don't think Mike Anderson would be scared of playing 10, 11, 12 at you, and that's where his system is the best, when he can throw that many guys at you and get that kind of minutes, because that style of basketball, the Arkansas style of basketball, is relentless, and it wears on teams, and that's what you're going to see, and that's why we have so much success at home, because they feed off the energy of the crowd.
Right.
Now, getting it on the road, that's going to be the key. And whether Arkansas is an NIT team or if they're a NCAA team, which I do believe that they will be in the top half of the conference, they will sneak into the NCAA tournament. I really believe that.
Yeah, and Brad, I like the point you made about the freshmen. And it's always interesting with the Nolan Richardson, Mike Anderson teams. Sure, you may only have 2- and 3-star players, but I look at a guy like Michael Qualls, if he's committed with his athleticism and if he has the work ethic, he can lock up somebody like Archie Goodwin and give him a hard time. Archie Goodwin, a 12-star, Michael Qualls, a 2- or 3-star, but you put him with the tenacity, energy, and athleticism, he can give him a hard time. That's the beauty of this system and the way we play, and that's why we don't have to have all these McDonald's All-Americans. It's just a perfect fit.
And I just like the way that these guys, like Brad and you've both mentioned, have fit in so well. You don't even have to look at the actual game tape. You hear about a player and if this is a power forward, you know how he's going to look.
Right.
You know what style of basketball player they're going after. And then, I watch Michael Qualls. I'd never seen the guy play, and then I see his highlights and I'm like, that's a Mike Anderson guy. That's a 40 minutes of whatever kind of guy. That's just what Mike Anderson and Nolan Richardson and they've all been about. And that is the epitome of hog ball, and that's why people are excited, I think.
And that's exactly right. And again, when you're throwing that many bodies at teams and you play that style of basketball, it just wears people down. That's what Nolan's teams did. Nolan's best teams did that. We just wear you down, not only physically but mentally. When you're coming at people like that in waves for that long, that style of basketball is fun to watch, but it's also effective. And I really look for the Razorbacks. We had some times of effectiveness last year. I think that this year you'll see even more. And then next year, I really look for this program to take off.
Man, I can't wait. Season tips tonight, 7 o'clock against Sam Houston State. Brad, before we let you go, you got anything to say about the Hog football game tomorrow? You expect an upset?
No.
Well, you're probably about the same as we are. So go ahead and send us your prediction on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/sportsblitz. Let us know what you think. Brad, thanks for coming on with us today.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, that's Brad Caldwell. We'll have him back on every week because, like he said, whether he's smart or not, he'll give you an opinion, and that's something that can't be said for everyone. We're going to take a break real quick. We've got plenty left to hit.
Set your sights on savings right now at Honda of Russellville. We're offering our best deals of the year on remaining 2012 Honda ATVs, plus special introductory offers on select new 2013 Honda ATVs, all with zero down and easy monthly payments with approved credit. Be sure to check out the all-new Honda Foreman 4x4, now stronger, smarter, and harder working. How about a side-by-side? Well, Honda's got you covered with the Big Red. Honda's Big Red offers a proven Honda engine, automotive-style Honda automatic transmission with no belts to slip or break. Come in for a test ride today at Arkansas's legendary Honda dealer, Honda of Russellville.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
Sports Scene of Arkansas offers a wide variety of sporting goods and apparel to meet any athlete's needs. Coaches love the top-of-the-line equipment that gives their players an edge, and parents and fans can't get enough of the high-quality screen printing that allows them to sport their favorite team's logo on jerseys, bags, and hats. Your one-stop shop for embroidery, banners, and much, much more. Visit your local team sports specialists. Sports Scene at 316 West Main in Russellville.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
It doesn't matter what you're looking for, chances are Good Deal Charlie Discount Furniture has it. From living room, bedroom, and dining furniture to one-of-a-kind pieces, Good Deal Charlie has everything. The staff is pleasant and always friendly, so you'll feel no pressure to buy. With new and used furniture for your home or office, you can find everything you need at the best possible prices at 2209 East Main Street in Russellville. Good Deal Charlie.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
AR Sports present the 2012 River Valley Football Magazine, featuring profiles of local high school football teams, as well as college football previews and player spotlights. Professional photography accompanies top-notch writing throughout to bring you the best locally focused publication in Arkansas. You'll enjoy special tributes to local legends Jerry Aiken and Don Sevier, as well as an exclusive interview with Razorback all-time great Clint Sterner in this year's magazine. Available at fine establishments throughout the River Valley. Pick up your copy of River Valley Football Magazine today.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Live from the River Valley Leader Studio, here are your hosts, Mark Freeman and Weldon Braxton.
Welcome back to the last segment of the Prediction Friday Sports Blitz. A little different format than it always is. We had a long segment there talking basketball. It happens. It happens often where we just start talking about ball and we can't stop. So we're back to talk a little football. We've got to give you our predictions and let you give us yours. We would be remiss if we didn't get your score predictions. While we're thinking about this, though, the football or the basketball predictions, I gave a couple of mine, Brad's, Weldon's, and Corey Williams. Jesse Peters says Hogs are going to go 22-9 this year. So that's something else to keep an eye on as you get prepared for the Hogs basketball game tonight. Man, my heart almost skipped a beat just then when I was thinking about the fact that Hogs basketball is tipping off tonight. I'm ready for that. Isn't it? I'm ready for it. Well, something that's not going to make anybody's heart skip a beat at this moment is the Hogs taking on South Carolina tomorrow in football. I don't know that Arkansas is a huge underdog. What's the point spread right now?
It was 14 last night. It opened at 14. It was there the other day. I can check real quick to see if it's still there, but it was at 14 to open.
And I said early Monday that I thought that was too many points. I still go with that. Right now, my prediction has Arkansas within that 14-point range. I would have picked Arkansas with the points.
Yeah, I would take Arkansas. And just it's one of those things where it's more about South Carolina than Arkansas. Obviously, with any type of point spread, turnovers can turn it upside down. I mean, if Arkansas is giving the ball away inside South Carolina territory, they're going to score points. It's going to get ugly. But you just look at the nature of the South Carolina offense. Sure, they're going to do above average damage because they're playing Arkansas, but are they going to do 40 points worth of damage? I just can't see that. I mean, I'm not giving my score away yet, but I think Arkansas, if they take care of the ball, will be able to look respectable.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying keep it close. Look respectable. There's a difference.
So you think that they're going to get blown out?
No,
I thought it was within the 14 points.
Well, no, it's within the 14. I think Arkansas is going to look respectable, but that's not the same as me saying it's going to be tight.
And that's you're saying the score is not necessarily going to be indicative of how much better South Carolina is.
Right. I mean, I'll just give my margin. It's going to be about 8 points. It's going to be my margin of victory for South Carolina, but
See, I've got it 27-17. South Carolina.
27-17.
I think South Carolina, that puts it to where that shows you what I think about their offense is not very good, especially since our defense isn't very good. And the fact that Arkansas is starting its fourth middle linebacker of the season. And then it shows you where I think Arkansas's offense is right now. Earlier in the year, if you would ask me what I thought about South Carolina game at the beginning of the season, I would have said, Arkansas win 42-30. Something maybe even worse than that. And now I don't think Arkansas is going to score that many points because I don't trust that the offensive line can protect Tyler Wilson. I don't believe that Jadeveon Clowney is going to be able to be kept out of the backfield. And if he is, it's going to eliminate some of the things that Arkansas wants to do, in my opinion.
Right.
So we looked on Wednesday, Weldon, at the things that we thought Arkansas needed to do: neutralize the pass rush and Jadeveon Clowney. Make great decisions by Tyler Wilson. No turnovers, take care of the ball. Get off the field on third down was your big one.
Yeah. I mean, and that's huge, too. Really, at third down is just it's underrated in sports, too. Defending on third down, getting yourself off the field, and then converting on third down. You got to keep drives alive. I was looking at this Arkansas team, and I haven't looked hardcore at the numbers, just a few major stats. The yardage, as far as the production, it's not far off last year. It's just we're so sloppy. Like, we're still throwing for 300-something yards a game, but unlike last year, you got to sprinkle in a lot of fumbles and interceptions to get to those yards. It's almost like if you're baking a cake and you spill a little flour here and there, but you clean it up nice and easy. That was last year. This year, offensively, we're still baking a cake or a pie, and it's pretty good, but there's flour and sugar all over the floor, and it's just a mess to clean up. It's an untidy version of throwing for 300 yards and being explosive. Arkansas's got to clean that part of it up, because if they take care of the ball against South Carolina, they can hang around this game. My score prediction is 31-23 South Carolina. Again, I'm not impressed with this South Carolina offense. Of course, no Marcus Lattimore. They're still going to try to run the football because they're not a proficient throwing team. They don't have a big target like Alshon Jeffrey. They'll probably try to spread us out. They've got a lot of small, quick receivers. So I think 31-23 will be the score.
Let's look in our crystal ball real quickly.
All right.
If we're to look at the game, we're here Monday and Arkansas won the game.
Okay.
What did Arkansas do? And how did this happen?
I think, first of all, the defensive line had an impact. I think we're going to come in here Monday morning talking about how the defensive line not only stopped the run, which is what they've been pretty good at all year long, but they got after the quarterback and they were disruptive. They forced turnovers. Remember last time we got a huge road win at Auburn, and yes, it was at Auburn, but we did force some turnovers. And I think that's what we're going to talk about. The South Carolina offense making mistakes, giving Arkansas's offense a short field, and us capitalizing on it. I think that'll be the story on Monday if we're talking about a Hog victory.
You'll definitely be talking about the Razorbacks winning the turnover battle.
Right.
It won't be one of those things where Tyler Wilson throws for a couple picks, maybe even more than one. If he throws more than one, it's bad.
Yeah.
Dennis Johnson, who strangely hasn't fumbled when that had been a big problem of his coming into this season. I guess his mama's talk that she came and had with him on campus, it did pretty well because he's just beasted since then. Apparently that's had some good results come from it. So, if we're looking at this game on Monday and Arkansas won, no turnovers, you eliminated Jadeveon Clowney, and then you just basically on defense, you gotta make Connor Shaw a passing quarterback. If he gets outside the pocket, we've had trouble with that in a big way. You go back to Cam Newton, Terrell Pryor, Chris Relf even. Who? Chris Relf.
Yeah.
People that shouldn't have been able to beat Arkansas basically by themselves. And then, like you were talking about on third down, it seems like Arkansas gets you in 3rd and 9, and then I'm just like, oh well, move the chains because here they come. They're gonna get a 10-yard play on 3rd and 9 because that's what happens. It will mean if Arkansas wins that game that they've shored that up. And Lord, looking forward, if they were to win this game, Monday would be a madhouse. Arkansas is going to beat Mississippi State. They're going to beat LSU. Somehow everybody else is going to lose 3 more times, and Arkansas is going to the Sugar Bowl. That's what all the fans would be saying.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the spread here. Apparently somebody's thinking along the lines we are, like in Arkansas. The line's going down to 13.5, so some people are picking the Hogs.
To me, it's 14 is a lot for a team without its best player.
Right.
That's just my opinion. So.
Yeah, and Clowney's banged up too. He's playing and everything, but he's going to be banged up. So.
All right. Well, let's look over here real quickly. You can give us your predictions. Go to Facebook.com/SportsBlitz. Let us know. As far as we haven't had anybody that has commented because everybody's so excited about basketball that they're just skipping out on football. So if you want to let us know what your score prediction is going to be, if you think Arkansas can pick up the win, love to know. Change gears completely here. There's no easy way to transition between football and basketball. But we talked about the Arkansas basketball team earlier. It's time to look at the college basketball landscape as a whole as the season tips tonight. You've got some impressive games. Maryland at Kentucky, Florida at Georgia, and then at midnight tonight, Michigan State and UConn?
Yeah, Michigan State
right?
and UConn.
On the aircraft carrier, right?
They're doing
so that's going to be kind of interesting. But it's inside, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they've had some issues with that. I think it's in Germany, actually, now that I think about it. I think they're playing in Germany. So, yeah, college basketball tips off. Everybody gets to see their favorite coach, John Calipari, and their favorite team, the Kentucky Wildcats.
Yes. And, hey, I'm not going to lie. I told you this off the air, and it's probably not the best for Hog fan to be saying on the air, but
Oh, yeah.
I hate John Calipari a whole lot less after watching what I've seen from the Kentucky All Access on ESPN. But obviously that's the point.
Right,
They're trying to make everybody love him, but he's a lot better coach than I thought he was.
Yeah, I think Cal's he's always been one of those guys, either you love him or you hate him. And he's one of those guys, he's got so much charisma, and the way he's able to talk and communicate with players, he's able to still be a disciplinarian figure but also relate to players. And he kind of plays that up too. I think he says, look at the Coach K, Roy Williams of the world. They're one way. I'm kind of the guy who's championing for your cause. I care about your family. I care about bringing you financially into a better situation. He plays that card up, and a lot of people say he's doing something sleazy with that, he's helping those families in ways he shouldn't, but it's kind of a subjective thing. But that's Cal for you.
All right, well, let's look at the basketball landscape at a very broad view. Weldon, you've got some stuff you wanted to give us, as well as your national champion pick. I'm just going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say I think Louisville is the team that it seems like they're on the doorstep every year. Their style is just like Arkansas. Fans are getting ready to get used to. It's a tough style for people to play against. Gives people fits, and I think this year Peyton Siva, he's got a.
That's your boy, isn't it?
Well, I don't really like him that much, but he's finally. I think that Patino's got himself a point guard who he can trust a little bit more,
right.
And I expect that they're going to win the national championship.
Yeah, Peyton Siva kind of reminds you of an Edgar Sosa. Remember, he had Sosa a few years ago. Let's look at the top 5, AP top 5 for college basketball. Indiana, number 1, Louisville 2, Kentucky 3, Ohio State 4, and Michigan 5. No real surprise there. I'm going to go ahead and go with Indiana. I love your Louisville pick. I could certainly see them being there. I just like Cody Zeller, and I like Tom Crean. Tom Crean can flat out coach. I mean, there was, he goes to Indiana. It didn't look like he was going to be able to recruit well when he got there. Tom Crean is just a hard-working, very good basketball coach. So I'm going to take Indiana. But, of course, everybody wants to see Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky is the only team in college basketball that has nobody on the roster that started a game last year.
That's crazy.
Yet they're talented. And I know people want to compare last year's Kentucky team to this year. What's the difference? First of all, they got to figure out point guard. Now, they were shaky at point guard last year with Marcus Teague. This year, they're going to be even more shaky. Ryan Harrell is kind of banged up, and he hasn't played well. Will they play Archie Goodwin at point? We'll see. Nerlens Noel, will he have to live up to Anthony Davis-like expectations? I think that's unfair, but he will have that pressure on him. And then Alex Poitras, he's a swing man. He can play. Kentucky will be good. The question is how good.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick Kentucky to win the national championship. And I don't know, to be honest with you, as long as Calipari has this style going where every year's a new team, basically, I don't know that I'll ever pick them to win the national championship.
It'd be hard
because
wouldn't it?
It'd be very hard to pick them to win the national championship because you don't know what you're going to get with guys like Harrow. I know he's a transfer, but he's never touched the floor. We don't know what to expect. And if Archie Goodwin's the guy, he's never played point guard. He was in high school. He was shooting it 25 times a game, and now he's not a point guard.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's where you wonder if Cal can work his magic. You look at guys like Tyreek Evans, who he played off the ball a lot as far as not playing the point. They converted him to be his style of point. Now in the NBA, he can't distribute and all of that, but that dribble drive, isolation style, He'll try to make Archie a point guard if he needs to, Mark. But I just want to look at some other players here. Looking at the Sporting News first-team All-Americans. Cody Zeller, no surprise there, the big man from Indiana. Doug McDermott, James Michael McAdoo, Deshaun Thomas, and C.J. McCollum. And, I've told you I have my own All-American team that I come up with. And their first team looks similar to mine. I do have Zeller, I have McAdoo, and I have C.J. McCollum from Lehigh. I have Doug McDermott on my second team. He's on their first team. And Deshaun Thomas, maybe I'm just mad about how he didn't show up in the Final Four last year. I don't. I have Shabazz Muhammad in my first team, of course, a freshman for UCLA. So just some differences there. Other guys I think you'll want to watch is Isaiah Cannon. Remember him from Murray State.
Oh, yeah.
Ray McCallum from Detroit will be a good one as well. So, C.J. Leslie from NC State, obviously. Just a lot of players to watch, a lot of good guard play this year in college basketball.
Man, I'm excited.
I am too.
Looking forward to it. Let's look real quickly at a couple games that are going to be taking place tonight. We already mentioned Maryland, Kentucky, Florida, Georgetown. Those are going to be fun basketball games tonight. I guess Ohio State's playing Marquette. Michigan, Arkansas plays them, so you get a chance to watch them. San Diego State, Syracuse was postponed, but that one was going to be a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Is that Weber State versus North Carolina? That looks like it'd be a nice one. And then scrolling on through, Baylor, Lehigh. That'll be fun.
You'll get to see C.J. McCollum from Lehigh. Remember, he was a big star against Duke in the first round. Of course, Baylor, they always have athletes and talent. So,
all right, and before we close up shop for the day, the NFL season, this is going to be a crazy weekend in the NFL as well. 3 games that we saw that we thought a lot about: the Dallas-Philadelphia game, Atlanta-New Orleans, and Houston-Chicago. Weldon, these games are huge in a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, huge games. Sunday night, of course, Texans and Bears. I look for the Texans to show they can play primetime football. They played against a desperate Packers team. They got beat. No shame in that. I think they'll respond and beat Chicago. That Dallas-Philadelphia game, now maybe not literally, but sort of in a sarcastic way, somebody could be losing jobs, whoever loses that Dallas-Philadelphia game, because the loser is pretty much out of the playoff race. I think that'll be huge. You got Cam Newton, Peyton Manning going head-to-head. Last night, Andrew Luck and company, they just keep winning. We don't know how, but they just keep winning. Luck looks like a veteran. So, there's some not attractive matchups, but things where if you get beat, you're out of the playoffs. And that's what makes some of these kind of games seem pretty important.
Yeah, we talked about Dallas and Philadelphia, man. That's a huge game. You were talking about walking papers. This could be a walking papers game.
It's a walking papers game for sure. Do have to mention last one real quick, Falcons at Saints. And I don't care who you are. You go to New Orleans, you always have a chance to get beat. So it'll be interesting to see if the Falcons can stay undefeated going to New Orleans.
All right. Well, we've blitzed through as much as we possibly could in an hour. So sorry if we've missed a little bit of something that you wanted to talk about. But feel free on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to get with us, facebook.com/sportsblitz. Let us know what you think. You can email me, mark@rivervalleyleader.com, with any sports news, updates, pictures, anything you want us to cover. We'd be glad to do it. This weekend, we're going to work on getting Weldon better and watching a lot of sports. So
chicken soup.
Go check out your home team and enjoy a weekend of sports. And come back same time, same place on Monday.